I I have no honor for what I'm about to do. I don't know. I really do not know what to say. But I'm doing my thoughts on, so I might as well just talk talk about it. I guess. Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clint Zoker. Welcome back to another My Thoughts On. Today I'll be doing my thoughts on Sherlock, Gnomes, or as I like to call it, Sherlock Gnomes. Excuse me, because the pun is obvious. As you would expect from most people about this movie, I didn't want to see it at all. In fact, I actually kind of wanted to skip it. But since I wanted to see Mary and the Witch's Flower, which I should be by next week, if not DVD release, this movie just fascinates me for all the wrong fucking reasons. It's modern, it looks cringy, it's unfunny, and it's made just for kids, according to the trailer. However, the movie doesn't have any of that cringy modern stuff. You know, the the manky jumping into the puddle, and then you hear farts, and you got Paris saying, "Oh, that's disgusting. Are you done?" None of that. I guess they knew they didn't want to make this film as shit as it is now. Okay, so let's talk about the movie. So the plot is all the gnomes go missing from the new garden that Nomeo, voiced by James McAvoy, and Juliet, voiced by Emily Blunt, moved to. And I do mean all the gnomes go missing. And it's up to Sherlock Gnomes, voiced by Johnny Depp, Gnome Watson, voiced by... I can't pronounce his name, but I know he was in Doctor Strange. Sorry about that, I had to do something, but Sherlock Gnomes and Gnome Watson have to investigate where the gnomes are being kidnapped to and try and stop the evil villain. Was it Monterey? Yeah, it's Monterey. Okay, I'm gonna make a little similarity to a couple other films that have this exact problem. Rugrats Go Wild, kind of, and definitely Ice Age Collision Course. Right. This movie has so much going on. Surprisingly, there were things I was actually interested in. Mostly the whole Sherlock Gnomes and Gnome Watson trying to take down Monterey, who used to be a pie mascot, and he's actually the main villain in this movie, along with two gargoyles. Spoilers? Sorry. Were you expecting spoiler free? Seriously, what did you expect from Sherlock Gnomes? Anyways, that stuff I was interested in. This could have been its own film if you didn't include fucking McAvoy and Blunt and the rest of the gang, which I did not really care all that much about in the first film. Okay, the problem is, the two main characters argue. The other characters in the film are comic reliefs and they don't serve much of a purpose. There's too many subplots going on, it can be a little confusing, it can go over your head, and some of the slapstick is too modern, desperate, and tries way, way too hard. However, like the other two, this movie does get a few decent laughs, thanks to Johnny Depp's performance as Sherlock Gnomes, Gnome Watson. I did get a little bit of a chuckle from the villains. Yeah, that's about it, really. There was a couple of puns that involved Romeo and Juliet, Sherlock Gnomes, obviously. There was one about Spider Gnome, Gnome coming. Oh, what else? I can't remember because they were going by so quickly at the beginning of the film. So many puns thrown at you. It's just ridiculous. And this whole film was made because of the fucking pun. Also, the movie's predictable. Have I mentioned that? No, I haven't, because it's actually true. This movie is so predictable. It should be a mystery, and in the first few minutes, you know who the villain is, you know what his plans are. The mystery that they do is just kind of pointless, and there is a little reveal which I won't spoil, even though I'm really desperate to, because it really isn't that hard. But at the same time, I didn't see it coming, and then it just backfired for the villain's plan to make the heroes and their situation and their relationships worse. So not only is the movie's writing just terrible, it's predictable, it's really confusing, it's undeniably juvenile. But again, I did get a couple of laughs. There were a couple of sequences, like fight sequences and like moments where you go in Sherlock's head that were amusing to say the least. Well, it may not be the worst writing I've seen, but this is basically just a story that's just for kids. And honestly, I would have bashed this movie for really bad jokes and writing, but I will say this: it's harmless. This is the same with Peter Rabbit. Despite that, I really don't like these films. At least they are harmless. Mostly, anyways. At least they are targeted towards children. Same with Ice Age Collision Course and Rugrats Go Wild. Excuse me. All four of them. These are films, well, not including Rugrats Go Wild, even though I was just about 3 or 4 when it came out. So, with Ice Age Collision Course, Peter Rabbit, and Romeo and Juliet, not Romeo and Juliet, Sherlock Gnomes, these three should have never existed, and when they did, it made matters worse. Oh, by the way, Peter Rabbit is still making money somehow. Somehow! But, as fucking not good, let me put it this way, as juvenilely bad they are, even though I do think Ice Age Collision Course was bad, Peter Rabbit was surprisingly decent, but that's not saying much. This movie is almost as bad as Collision Course. At least they are harmless. At least they are just pieces of fluff for kids. Well, maybe not including Peter Rabbit, but you know what I mean. So I'll say that, but does it make me like it? No, because it's not towards me. I mean, yeah, Coco and Early Man was, but it was a really clever and funny movie. This movie, kind of, not clever, but funny at times, just not by much. So, the writing and the plot and what is trying to be and what the target audience is, it's kind of expected. Animation. If there's one thing that this film has actually improved on, it's the animation. I mean, the animation in the first film wasn't anything too special. It was pretty good. This movie, this is some really good animation. And I'm not exaggerating here, this is really, really good. The backgrounds of... The backgrounds of London look really nice, look very realistic. The gnomes themselves have very nice and identifiable designs. Sherlock Gnomes looks great, the gnomes look great, Monterey looks great, Irene looks amazing. The gargoyles, the objects that these guys use as gadgets is very creative, and there was even 2D scenes when we go in Sherlock Gnomes' mind to try and solve the case. There's a lot of effort in the animation, and this is the same with Ice Age Collision Course. Even though I do think that movie's got slightly better animation than this, but still. This movie's animation is very, very good. It's very, very impressive too. It's not Pixar quality, even though I do think it's kind of close. Okay, yeah, it is close to Pixar quality, but at the same time, it's not perfect animation. Like, I'm like if you just look from a far distance and when you look at it in detail and deeply, it just looks pretty generic. Although colourful and does look quite nice and fantastically well executed, it just looks really average, and there's nothing that stands out the most really, apart from, again, colourful visuals. Heck, even the scene, I think you know which one I'm talking about. It involves Irene in this musical number called As Strong As I'll Ever Be, or was it As Strong As I Ever Was? That visually looks amazing, even though it has really no point to the film apart from music. But we'll get to that later. So, without any further ado, it's not perfect animation, but you know, the animators did do the best they can with a film like this, and it has improved from the first film as well. Characters and acting. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, let's start off with the main character, even though technically he is one of the main characters, and that is the title character, Sherlock Gnomes, voiced by Johnny Depp. On one hand, Sherlock Gnomes, I'll admit he does get a few decent laughs, but he does come off as a bit of a jackass since he treats Watson like dirt. I mean, he is his sidekick, so he just pushes him out the way and just admits that he's great. And I think you know what the moral of the film is later on. Speaking of Watson, he's more like the Benjamin from Peter Rabbit, where he's relatable, helpful, and actually has and he's actually kind of reasonable at times, and he also does get a few chuckles from me. Romeo and Juliet are just Romeo and Juliet. They have their couples arguing thing, and that goes completely nowhere, even though it does have a point in the film, and it does not affect the plot at all. Monterey may be probably one of the most interesting parts of the film, but he is so annoying. He is loud, he's really obnoxious. Even the two gargoyles are annoying. They talk like this. What's going on here? They're like, I mean, I know it's set in London, and they do actually talk like Londoners, but good God, they're annoying. The other characters from the other film are in the film, but honestly, they don't do much. Fawn, Benny, Paris, Mrs. Was it Mrs. Montague and Mr. Capulet, voiced by Maggie Smith and Michael Caine. There's Mankey as well. They all come back in the film, but they don't do much. There is a side plot with Benny, voiced by Matt Lucas, with the frog. Was it Natal? And that goes nowhere. Although kind of lovely, but her character is annoying, just like in the first film, so didn't care that much. There was a couple of human characters. There's a scene where they go into this like Chinese or Japanese basement with cats, which I thought was kind of creative at first. There was a dog there that I didn't care about. The two owners as well. Who else? Oh, probably a character I actually want to see more of. Irene. The scene she's in is actually pretty good. It feels like I'm in a different film. And she's definitely terrific. Even the voice actress, I should say, who voices her is pretty good. And I thought her, Sherlock Gnomes, Gnome Watson, the villains, despite how annoying they are, I thought they were the ones that were actually more interesting. I actually wanted to be more about them than Romeo and Juliet. Wouldn't it make more sense if they just talk or tell the story about Sherlock Gnomes than involve them? I don't know, I thought that would make it a little more unique. The voice acting is mostly good. When I say mostly, I mean most of them do actually pull it off quite well. Johnny Depp, despite his obvious Jack Sparrow impression, and I heard people say he's just kind of tiring and not that, you know, that impressive. But I thought he was very enjoyable. Same with the actor who plays Watson. He was pretty great as well. Emily Blunt, who was recently in A Quiet Place, is just good in this movie. She does get a little irritating at times, but her performance is not quite as good as A Quiet Place, but she's still good. James McAvoy, I always liked him. I thought he was great in Split, and in the first Romeo and Juliet, I thought he wasn't too bad. Here, despite actually pulling off a really good English accent, despite being Scottish, unfortunately he does get a little irritating saying, "Hey, what's going on here? They're gonna smash us all tomorrow." This movie is far too British. And not high class, I mean just Londoners, chavvy. Ugh. Matt Lucas is great as always. Stephen Merchant as always. Michael Caine, Maggie Smith. Despite not getting big roles, they're still amazing. They're still very good. The voice actor of Irene is terrific. Monterey is also over the top but has fun. Two gargoyles are pretty great. Some of the additional voices are good as well, despite not recognising them or something. Yeah. The score by James Bacon, I think. But then the songs in the film are actually mostly Elton John songs for some reason. Apart from they were actually in the first film. I don't know why they keep doing it. I mean, he's rolling with Kingsman, the Golden Circle was enough. Don't know why you have to pad it out even more with his songs. Seriously, what does Sherlock, Gnomes, and Romeo and Juliet have anything in common with Elton John? I don't know, I guess he just wanted to do the project. The music, unlike Peter Rabbit where it didn't fit, this movie kind of. I think they just picked him because the film's set in Britain and they need a British singer, and put his music in as well. So I mean, there's that. I don't have anything else to say. So yeah, Romeo and Juliet 2 or Sherlock Gnomes. It's bad. It's really bad. It's not quite as cancerous as the Emoji Movie. I'll give it credit that I do have a couple of favourite characters. It has surprisingly great animation and an interesting plot with Sherlock Gnomes. Even I wish the whole film was actually about him. That would have made it far more interesting and maybe even better than it already is. Just remove the cringy puns and the modern stuff. Good to go. Keep Johnny Depp and the Doctor Strange cast member that I don't remember his name of. Good to go. Oh, and Irene and the villains. And you got yourself Sherlock Gnomes. Unfortunately, what we got was just a generic, mediocre, unfunny, mostly dull-looking, predictable film. I'll give it credit that it is pretty harmless. It is for kids, honestly. They will enjoy it no matter what. That's just my opinion, honestly. Rating, I'm possibly going to have to give this film a 3.9 or a 4. It's not quite as bad as like Ice Age Collision Course when obviously the Emoji Movie, but comparing it to Peter Rabbit, I think Peter Rabbit was actually slightly more tolerable. This movie is just forgettable at best. I mean, I'm glad I saw it, but I don't think I'll see it again. Comparing it to the first one, visually this movie looks better. As a movie, I think the first one. So, yeah, it's not a good movie, it's not terrible, it's just bad. So, I mean, if you like the first one, or if you like generic, just average kids' films. You might like it, but I do honestly recommend Early Man Coco. Maybe Olive. Excuse me. Maybe Olive Dogs. Even though technically that's not really a kids' film, but hey, in America it's PG-13, so anything can be possible. I don't know, waiting for The Incredibles 2 to come out, or heck, maybe even a Teen Titans Go to the Movies movie. Maybe that will be funny. I don't think I'll. Will I see that? I might actually go see that, even though I really don't know much about Teen Titans Go. So, yeah, I don't think it's a great movie, but I don't think it's terrible either. It's not okay at all, actually. It's just bad. So, next, it will be Deadpool 2. Or maybe Mary and the Witch's Flower. We'll have to see about that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, Gnome for now. Bye for now. Jesus Christ, why did I ever do that?